Welcome back. Shorter video today. I woke up in the night and I was doing my head in, just worrying about the timing on the engine, so I thought now would be a good time where I can just easily check it. So I'm just going to remove this, put the timing bar back in and the timing thing, put it to top dead center, make sure the bar slides in nicely, and I'll know it's all timed up just for peace of mind. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take the inlet off. I looked at some footage and figured out where the bracket that holds the supercharger goes, so I'm going to put that on. I've ordered a pulley, a new tensioner pulley. What else? Yeah, I'm not sure at the minute, but yeah, I'll put it on time lapse. So I'm going to take this bracket off, put the timing thing in, and let's hope it's all timed up correctly. But I'm confident it is, but just for peace of mind, let's check. Okay, panic over. That was quick and easy to do, and I'm glad I've done it, as I said, for peace of mind. So I put the locking pin in again, turned the main pulley over. Once it hits the pin, I know that the first cylinder is at top dead center, and then I just checked that the timing bar went back in, and it has. So I now know 100% certain that it is timed right. So I'm glad I've checked that this morning. As I said, it didn't take long, actually 2 minutes. So yeah, that's good news. So what I'm going to do now is undo everything I've done, put all the other bits on that I've just taken off. Okay, so I just spent about 10 minutes or so. Let me show you down here. I found this bracket, which is one that was made, custom made, here. And it bolts onto one of the gearbox bolts here, and the gearbox on. Then you mark that into position. Now, it's basically what was happening is when I tried to make sure that this pulley, the turbocharger pulley, if I put that onto there, it needs to be completely in line with the edges of the other pulleys. And what was happening is, I'll exaggerate it for the purpose of the videos, it was like that. So by spacing out the supercharger that end, it makes it twist more back this way. So if I'm putting the 6 space, the washers in that end, it's now completely in line with the main pulley and the alternator. And if we go across to the power steering pulley and line it up, it's also square to that as well. So it's what I'll obviously have to do closer to the time is, once the gearbox is on and mounted and this bolt is then through, I'll just have to keep checking that this, basically the angle of the supercharger needs to be pushed away in order to push the pulley at the other end completely in line with the other pulleys. So it looks like this wasn't too far out, which is good. Obviously, well, having said that, there is a few washers in there, as you can see. Not the best option, but there's a long thread that reaches in there, so we've still got plenty of thread gripping into here. But 6 washers at the minute looks like where it will be, but we won't know completely for sure until the gearbox is on. So what I'll do is have to bear that in mind. But now that that bracket is on, this is a lot more rigid. It's not shifting anywhere, and it's just proven that this pulley is or should be okay. Obviously, if it's not, I can loosen these 2 up, which is the other fixing point, try and manipulate this bracket and bend it a little bit further forward, and then add other washers. But I believe that if it's still not quite right, I can still add another washer in, pull this way a little bit more, which will therefore put this exactly in line, because it's imperative that this comes in line, because otherwise because of the speed this goes round, if this is slightly off, it'll force the belt to bounce off, and obviously the belt's going to come off just like that, which you obviously don't want. So I'm pretty certain that, as I said, from what I've done there, it's confirmed that it's going to be okay. So that's good. I'm glad I found that bracket, and again, I'm glad Warren had made that bracket, because I've not got the facilities to fabricate such a thing. So that's good. What I'm going to do, I've got a bit of an issue. The problem with powder coating is, shot blasting, you end up with a lot of shot. Now I've given this clean 3 times, and you can see the lighter bits in there, the sparkles. That's really, really small bits of sand. Now with this being having oil around it, it'll eventually wash all those bits, and it'll end up in the top of the head of the engine, and you, for obvious reasons, don't want metal shavings or sand in your top part of your engine, and then obviously the oil will go around and then it recirculate into the pump and back through again, so it will put it everywhere. So unfortunately, what I was planning on doing today was put the RTV sealant on this and fitting it, and then having a look at adding some other parts. However, until I get this thoroughly clean, that's just not going to be an option. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to try possibly some brake cleaner, go back into the house in the sink and use perhaps that brush down there, that detailing brush, and try and work it out a little bit more, because I'd be absolutely gutted to find out that I did all this and the reason why it failed was because I didn't clean out this properly. So that's one thing to bear in mind when you're having stuff shot blasted and powder coated. You need to ensure that it's fully clean before you put it back in, especially if it's related to the coolant and or the oil areas. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'll probably put you back on time lapse for that, but I'm happy that the supercharger's in place. By moving that out, by the way, it's pulled it a little bit further away from this oil relocator, so that's good. But yeah, as you can see, that is nice and strong on there now. I will take these bolts out. In fact, I might do that now and put the other spacers, put the other washers on. And my other concern is, at the moment, is if you can see here, I've tightened up this bolt and that's compressed the cork there, but there's no bolt here, so I'm a bit worried that the pressure will start escaping through here. So that one's tight, but yet that's still got a bit of room in there, so I'm not sure what I'll have to do. I might have to possibly take this off an RTV round and seal it to the cork, just to give it that extra protection. But for now, I'll take these bolts off and let's put the washers on it. So that's another little task done. So I found some bolts that are holding the fuel rail on. However, there's a bit of a gap, I don't know if you can see, between the metal of the fuel rail. So I'm not sure if there should be a rubber bung in there, or that the bolts I've used are bottoming out. I don't think these are the correct bolts, but the only ones I can find that work at the moment. Because the fuel rail wasn't on when I first started taking apart the engine, so I don't know if I ever had those bolts. I certainly can't see ones that match the thread. They're quite long. No. So this bag of bolts came with Warren. the parts that he sent me, so I'm not sure if potentially some of that's them. There's also this bag of bolts with all sorts in it, so I need to go through this. What I might do is get all of these, take them all out, clean them all up and get them all zinc plated as well, and I've just got loads of bolts spare ready if I ever need them, so I'll sort to get that sorted at some point. I've just put some brake cleaner in here. I don't know if it's going to make much difference. Yeah, it seems to be shifting it a bit better, so I'm going to go inside, put it on time lapse, and I'll work through cleaning this head a bit more, see if I can get some more of the dirt out of it. As I said, I need to make sure it's completely clear of it. I'd like to put it on today, but we'll see. Apologies, I kind of got on one then. So cleaning out the cover worked really well with the bristle brush and brake cleaner. Got all the bits out, I was happy with that. I then went round with some RTV sealant around the edge, which I hate doing. I always seem to mess it up, so I always put, in the end, I don't know if you saw, but I put loads on, spread it around with my finger, and then once I tightened it down, I just cleared to 6 Newton meters, these two here. And because that gasket is gone, this is the one where I've RTV'd it in, so it doesn't look too bad actually. I mean, hopefully that'll work fine. If you take a look there, it's consistent around the edge, so it looks pretty good. So yeah, 6 Newton meters for these. They're in. I found a bolt for that sensor. I believe that's the inlet sensor, probably for the VCT. But yeah, it's looking really good. Can't believe how much I've managed to achieve. So that's another job done. I've just hoped to God it doesn't leak, because I was confident here, but the part which I've tightened up these 3 bolts now on the cam belt cover is sometimes where it leaks, and if it leaks there, it leaks all down the back of here and covers the engine. But I mean, I'm pretty confident I've done it okay here. It was a brand new gasket, and I've recently done the one on my Ford Racing Puma. I don't know if I put that in a video, but so I've at least had one go at practicing it. I've got to change these plugs still that are in there. I've got the 2 replacement ones here. I haven't got the Allen key that size at the moment, so once I get that, I'll replace them. But yeah, all in all, it's looking really good. I'm really happy with it. I'll probably put the fuel rail back on now, which you'll see me do, and put the leads in. It's really beginning to take shape. We've got a sensor here. Where's that one from? I can't for the life of me think where that goes. Oh, it'll come to me, I'm sure. But anyway, let's put that back. Let's get the leads out, because if we get the leads in, they'll start looking good as well. As I mentioned before in yesterday's video, I've got the brand new coil pack to go on, but this sits on the water thermostat area, which screws in over here, and at the moment that's painted red and needs shot blasting and the powder coating, so that will eventually go there, and then this sits on top of it with the HT leads in. So yeah, as said, it's really beginning to take shape, and I'm really happy with it. So let's put you on time lapse again. Let's just put these HT leads in. That's just another job done then. So I was just looking through those spare bolts over there, and this is clearly the bolt, a bag of bolts for the fuel rail, because it matches the cushions there. And you know the spacer I was talking about earlier, I was a bit concerned that there's no grommets in. These have got to be those there, and I found the 2 correct bolts for here, so I'm just swapping those over now, put these in. I've also got some spare ones of those which are in better condition, so I'll replace them. So I'm glad I had a quick look for that. HT leads are in. It's really taking shape now. God, it feels good to finally almost have the engine complete. So I'm really glad I checked those bolt bags. As you can see, it's a bit of a mess. I was hoping to find some more bolts, which I've been missing. But as you can see, these are the correct bolts in there now. The black spacers are in. I just need to read up on the website I've been using for the torque settings for these 2 bolts here. And I replaced those 2 rusty ones there. The other ones are about as best as condition we got, which makes it look a little bit better. That was silver, I replaced it for a gold one. But yeah, I'm really happy. I need a new rubber for in there, a new grommet, so I have to find out which one that is and get it ordered. HT leads are in. As I said, I've got to change the water jacket plugs. That's setting quite nicely there, so I shouldn't see any problems with that. Yeah, it's looking really good. Get that pulley on there, that's all in order. And as I've said, once... Gosh, pissing in the wind. Right, I can tighten these up properly once the belt's on it. I've checked the timing, I'm happy with that. The timing's bang on. Yeah, get that pulley in, which sits... See that hole there? That's where the pulley goes. Got the supercharger pretty much on. I found some rubber grommets as well, which can probably replace for that once I get the distance of this right. As you can see there, that bolt's not lined up, so when we push the supercharger that way to correct the angle at this side, when that pulls out this way, that hole lines up. So again, I won't be able to do that until I fix the gearbox on. So there is a black plastic cover as well that goes across here, which I might get because it might tidy them up a bit. I've got a bag of wiring that I did. I need to tidy up the garage as well, by the way. It's getting to a bit of a mess, and I need to find out what I've got from the car when it came, because there's loads of bits that I need to sort through. I also started doing the other wiring. Oh, actually, if we look here, that's the cover for the fuel. So in fact, I might put that on now. So just give me a sec, let's get that on the car as well. So this is handy. The fuel injector signals are also on the same one as other connectors for the engine bay, and they all look in order. So, and this will be a complete harness for that section, so, and that goes straight into the ECU. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this yellow wrapping that Warren put on and put it back to black felt wrapping, which I've got some of. Smarten that up a bit. I'm going to put some back to black on this cover, and this will go with all the connectors on there back onto here, something like that. Is it that way around, maybe? Yeah, I believe it's that way around, and that's going to look really good. And then the other connectors, so that's obviously goes into the alternator, this one here. Sorry, you're probably waving you all over the shop. And then these other connectors will probably all go down to here and that. So yeah, that's a great find. I'm glad I spotted that. I think it's probably been the best day working on the car today. I feel as though a lot of really progressing and managing to find little gems that are making the job much better. So what I'll probably do now is go inside, because it's bloody freezing, and tear this down and try and make it look more presentable. It's got a little bit of damage on there, I'm noticing. Hopefully that won't be as obvious when I put some back to black on it and clean it up. So let's get this inside, let's take it apart Let's get the new covers on it and see how good we can make it look. Right, that's going to be all for today. We won't be able to do any more. It's 3:30 now, and then we're out somewhere. So, really happy with what I've achieved today. I think you'll all agree the engine's looking better. I don't know if this will be another video and it'll end here, or I'll tag on tomorrow's one, but I think there's probably enough footage for me to call this video a day and then start a new one tomorrow. I've made a start with this. It's really sticky, so I'm going to have to put some degreaser on there. With that said, I'm going to take it up. I've almost got that section off. I'd like to get some more of this black wiring, but unfortunately, well, I will, in fact, if this goes anywhere near anything hot. If not, I'll just use the material tape that I've got to cover that up, or use black electrical tape instead of yellow. But yeah, that's come apart fine. It looks like there might have been damage to a cable there, so I'm going to look into that and make sure that that's okay. Looks like the cable might be damaged there as well. Taking the cover off, this is where the damage is there. But I think once that's back to black, it'll look alright. Anyway, waffling. Great day working on the car today. Probably one of the best. So I'm really happy with that. And for now, that's all, because I've got to get on.